told me that questions diluted the process. She told me that I was sure that I had a good start and that I had to jump in. So, later that night, when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize for him. He clipped it here and there, and there was a little bit of blood in the bathtub, but he didn't even notice because he was so excited shaving me. So later, when he was pressing up against me, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection, and there was no fluff. It was then that I realized that hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower, the lawn around the house. You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. And besides, my husband never stops screwing around.
Woo!
All the women were asked the following question. If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret, a leather jacket, silk stockings, mink, a pink boa.
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting.
Emeralds, an evening gown, sequins.
Armani only.
A tutu, see-through black underwear, a taffeta ball gown.
Something machine washable.
A costume eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, a pink bow.
Ermine and pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo.
High heels, lace and combat boots. Feathers, twigs, shells, cotton.
A pinafore,
A bikini.
a slicker.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down.
Is that you?
Feed me. I want. Yum, yum. Oh, yeah.
Start again? No, over there. Yes, yes, that's it, Michelle.
Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More. Remember me?
Come inside. No, not yet. I'm here. Let's go. Let's go. Find me.
Enter at your own risk.
Oh, God. Thank God. Yes, yes, lick me.
Thank you. Bonjour. Oh, too hard. Don't give up.
Where's Brian? That's better. Yes, there. A group of women between the ages of 65 and 75 was interviewed. These interviews are perhaps the most poignant, probably because many of these women had never had vagina interviews before. One woman named Michelle, who was 72, had never seen her vagina. She had washed herself in the shower and bath, but never with conscious intention. And poor Michelle, she had never had an orgasm. At the age of 72, she went into therapy, as we do in New York. And with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was arthritic, but when she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. And this monologue is for her.
Woo!
Down there? Well, I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower, no. It's a cellar down there. Ugh. It's very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there, trust me. You get sick. Suffocating. Very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything. The smell's unbearable. It gets in your clothes. Well, no, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. No, it wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. I can't tell you this. What's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down theirs for? We
didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus, okay. So, there was this boy, right? Andy Lefkoff. And he was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall, like me. And I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't tell you this. I can't do this talk about my down there. You just know it's there. Like the cellar. You know, there's rumbles and you can hear the pipes sometimes and things get stuck down there. Little animals and things, you know? You know, it happens, you know. You know, it gets wet sometimes and someone's got to plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You forget about it. It's part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. But every house needs a cellar. Otherwise, the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, sorry. Andy left Clark, right? He was a catch. That's what they called it in my day. Anyway, so we were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. And I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seat. I had long legs. They were smushed up against the dashboard, and I was staring at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprisingly, take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got excited. So excited, and well, there was a flood down there. Couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded right through me. Right through my peonies and right onto the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee, and it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't smell anything, but he said, Andy said that it smelled like sour milk and that it was staining his car seat. I was a stinky, weird girl, he said. Well, you know, I tried to explain to him that I wasn't normally like this, you know, that his kiss had caught me off guard. I tried to clean up the floor with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word. And when I got out and closed his car door, I closed the whole store. Locked it, never opened for business again. Dated some after that, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. He never got close again. I used to have these dreams. Crazy dreams. They're dopey one. Burt Reynolds! I don't know why he never did much for me in life. But in my dreams. Bart and I. You know, it was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Bart and I, at a restaurant, like the type you'd see in Atlantic City. All big with the chandeliers and the thousands of waiters and the vests. Bart would give me this orchid corsage, and I'd pin it on my blazer right here. And we'd laugh. We were always laughing, Bart and I. Laughing. We'd eat shrimp cocktail. Huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. And we'd laugh more. We were very happy together. And then Bart would look into my eyes, and just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know what pigeons would do in there. Gosh, and the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There'd be fish in it, and little boats. Bart would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again. Horrified as his friends, you know. Dean Martin and Michelle and the like swam past us in their tuxedos and evening gowns. I don't have dreams like that anymore. Not since they took away just about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. My doctor thought he was being funny. He told me if you don't use it, you'll lose it. But really, found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyway? It's highly overrated. I've done other things, you know. I sell antiques, and I love the dog shows. You asked me what would it wear? What kind of question is that, what would it wear? You would wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like a person who speaks. weeks, stopped being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. Locked up, under the house, it's down there. Oh, you happy? You got it out of me. You got me to talk. You got an old lady to talk about her down there. You feel better now? You know, actually, you're the first person I ever told about this. And I feel a little better.
My vagina is a shell. A round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an exotic tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this. I learned this in a vagina workshop. I learned this from a woman named Michelle, a woman who runs a vagina workshop. A woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. In the workshop, Michelle asked us to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas looked like to us. One woman, who was pregnant, drew a big red mouth, screaming with coins spilling out. Another very skinny woman drew a big serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot, little squiggly lines around it. These squiggly lines were meant to represent the people or things, or just your basic atoms, that get lost in the black holes, like its base. I had always seen my vagina as sort of an anatomical vacuum, randomly sucking up particles and objects from the surrounding environment. I had never seen it in practical or biological terms. I never, for instance, seen it as something that was attached to me. In the workshop, we were given hand mirrors and told to look at our vaginas. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. Now, I must tell you that up until this point, I'd never really seen the thing. And it had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me on some abstract plane. I felt so reductive and awkward looking at it like we were in the workshop on shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how the early astronomers must have felt looking with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you cut open a dead fish and you discover this whole other bloody complex world inside. It was so raw, so red, so fresh, and the thing that surprised me the most were all the layers. Layers inside layers opening into more layers. My vagina amazed me. I had awoken to what Michelle called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat, my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon. Ancient and full of grace, it had all the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It could hide and seek, open and close. Then Michelle asked how many women had had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I didn't raise my hand, but I had had orgasms. I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They'd happened in my dreams, and I would wake up in splendor. It happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath, once in Cape Cod. It happened on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I didn't raise my hand because, although I had had orgasms, I didn't know how to make one happen. I thought it was some mystical, magical thing. It felt wrong getting involved. I didn't want to interfere. surprise would be gone, and the mystery. The problem, of course, was the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I hadn't had a magical orgasm in a long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was in the Vagina workshop. And then the moment came that I both dreaded and longed for. We were told to take out our mirrors and see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there. The group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason, and I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was the sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy. The enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was coming to do this for me. That someone was going to come to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as consumerist and mainstream because I was, in fact, terrified that I didn't have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those frigid, dead, dry, shut-down, apricot-tasting, bitter... Oh, my God! I lay there on my mat looking for my spot, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about was that time that I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds in the lake. How I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. The terror I felt, I knew I'd be punished. Then Michelle saw my scrambling, insane sweating, and heavy breathing. She came over. I told her it's gone. It's gone. I've lost my clitoris. I should have never wanted swimming. She laughed and told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, she said, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. I can be my clitoris. I lay back and closed my eyes. I put the mirror down. I watched myself floating above myself. Watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. And it was very quiet, this re-entry. Quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. And then I came into my own muscles and blood cells, and I slid into my vagina. And it was suddenly easy, and I fit. I was all warm and ready and young and alive and pulsing. And then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, and then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking broke open onto an ancient horizon of light and silence, which gave way onto a plane of music and color and innocence and longing, and I felt, oh, connection, calling connection, as I lay there, thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip, and a destiny. I am arriving as I am beginning to leave. My vagina. My vagina? Me.
Here's a vagina happy fact. This is from Woman, in Intimate Geography by Natalie Ange. The clitoris is pure and purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves, 8,000 nerve fibers to be precise. That is a higher concentration than is found anywhere else in the male or female body. including the fingertips, the lips, and the tongue. And it is twice the number in the penis. Who needs a handgun? We got a semi-automatic.
This monologue was based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with man.
This is how I came to love my vagina. I mean, it's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know how it should have happened. In a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our internalized self-hatred is only the hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite! I mean, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught that fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounded down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from the moment I saw it, wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. So in order to survive, I began to picture something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Little cotton comforters on cozy futons, velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things. Silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, place settings. I grew so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of even having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink line muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then, I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I had ever met. He was tall, thin, nondescript, and he wore tan khaki clothes. Bob did not listen to Prince or like spicy foods. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent his time in the shade. He didn't share his inner feelings, or have any problems or issues, or wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't funny, or mysterious, or articulate. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether had he not picked up the change that I dropped on Michelle's deli's floor. When our hands touched, as he was handing me back my quarters and pennies, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turns out, Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they smelled, the way they tasted, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. The first time we had sex, he said he had to see me. I'm right here, Bob. No, you. I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turns on the light. Okay, I'm ready to see you now. No need. Just do it. He starts to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I have to see what you look like. But you've seen a red leather couch before, Bob. I know you've seen that before. He kept on undressing me. He wouldn't stop. This is awfully intimate, Bob. Can't we just do it? It's part of who you are, baby. I need to look. I held my breath. Bob looked and looked, and he got all breathy, and his face changed. And he didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You're so beautiful, he said. You're innocent and deep, elegant and wild. You saw that there? I said. Oh yeah, I saw that. Much more. Bob stayed looking for almost an hour. It was as if he was studying the moon or observing the map or staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. And in the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric that I started to get wet and turned on. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a waterfall or a great painting. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell and love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.
This is a not-so-happy fact, found in UNICEF's 2005 report, Female Genital Mutilation and Cutting, a statistical exploration. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 130 million girls and young women. In 28 countries where it is practiced, most of them in Africa, about 3 million girls a year can expect a knife, or a razor, or a glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In a man, this would range from amputation of most of the penis to the removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the bladder, the urethra, the vaginal walls. Long-term, chronic uterine infection, increased danger, and agony during childbirths and early deaths.
My vagina's angry! It is. It's pissed off. My vagina's furious and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. No, wait. You. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of fucking people out there thinking up ways to torture my poor ass, gentle, loving vagina, spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers. All this shit they're constantly trying to shove up us, clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off and it's staying right here. Like tampons. What the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton stuffed up there? Why can't they find a way to subtly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says, forget it, it closes up. You need to work with my vagina. Introduce it to things, prepare the way. That's what foreplay is all about. You need to convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton! Stop shoving things up me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning. My vagina does not need to be cleaned up, okay? It smells good already. Don't try to decorate. Don't believe them when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy! All those douche sprays, very floral rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. All washed up like washing a fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. Then there are those exams. Who the fuck thought up those exams? There has got to be a better way. Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches in the back so you feel like a wad of paper someone threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all up in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? The Nazi steel stirrups. The mean, cold duck lips. What the fuck is that? My vagina's angry about those visits. It gets defended weeks in advance. It will not go out of the house. Okay, then you get there, right? They're just like, relax, scoot down, relax your vagina. Why
So you can shove mean cold duck lips up inside it? I don't think so, bitch! Why can't they find some nice, delicious purple velvet and wrap it around me? Lay me down on a nice, white, cotton, feathery thread, put on some friendly pink or blue gloves, and put my feet in fur-covered stirrups. Warm up the duck lips! Work with my vagina! But no more tortures. Dry wad of fucking cotton, mean cold duck lips, thong underwear. Oh, that shit is the worst. Moves around all the time, and then it gets stuck in the back of your crusty butt. Vaginas are supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. They need to move and spread and talk. Vaginas are supposed to talk. Vaginas need comfort. They need comfort. Make something like that. But no, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice pair of white cotton panties with a French tickler built in. Women would be coming all day long, okay? Coming in the supermarket.
Oh yeah, come in my express lane.
Coming in the subway.
Watch my gap.
Coming happy vaginas. They would not be able to take it. All those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas. If my vagina could talk, it would talk a lot like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. No clothes, just there, all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped release a giant baby. It thought it'd be doing more of that. It's not, so now it wants to travel. Doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things and get out more. It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants change. It wants silence. It wants freedom and warm liquids and gentle kisses and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants. My vagina wants. My vagina. My vagina? Well, it wants everything.
Bosnian women refugees were interviewed during the war in Yugoslavia in refugee camps and centers. 20,000 to 70,000 women were raped as a systematic tactic of war. It was shocking to see how little people did to stop it. But then again, each year in the United States, over 200,000 women are raped. This is another kind of war. This monologue is based on one woman's story. It's performed tonight in honor of that woman and the extraordinary women of Bosnia and Kosovo.
My vagina was green. Water-soft pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching lightly the soft piece of blonde straw. There is something between my legs. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. I don't touch, not now, not anymore. Not since. My vagina was chatty. Can't wait. So much saying, words talking. Can't quit trying, can't quit saying, oh yes, oh yes. Not since I dreamed there's a dead animal sewn in down there with thick black fishing line. And the dead animal smell cannot be removed. And its throat is slit and bleeds through all of my summer dresses. My vagina singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina songs, vagina home songs, Not since the soldiers stuck a long, thick rifle inside me. So cold, the steel rod canceling my heart. Don't know whether they're gonna fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of the monstrous doctors with black masks shoving bottles at me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom. My vagina swimming river water. Clean, spilling water over sun-baked stones, over clit stones, over and over. Not since I heard the skin tear and lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off in my hand. A part of the lip. Now one side of the lip is completely gone. My vagina. A live, wet water village. My vagina. My hometown. Not since they took turns for 7 days smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died. And the fish. My vagina. A live, wet water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now. Do not visit. I live someplace else now. I don't know where that is.
In hundreds of interviews with homeless women over the course of 13 years, only one woman was not sexually abused as a little girl or raped as a young woman. For many of these women, home is a very scary place, a place they have fled. The shelters are ironically the first place most of them find comfort, security, or protection. This is a woman's story as she told it. What isn't included in the story is the fact that this woman met another woman in a shelter, and they fell in love. And through their love, they both got out of the shelter system.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie smoker. I become terrified that I've scratched it off down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid of the water getting in and filling me up so I explode. I put Band-Aids over my coochie to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug up there to prevent things from entering me. And I sleep with 3 pairs of happy heart pattern cotton underpants underneath my snap-on pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home. I can't pee. My mama asks me, "What's wrong with your coochie smoker?" When I try to tell her what Edgar did to me, she yells at me and says to never let anyone touch me down there again. I try to explain that he didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I'm playing on the bed, bouncing and falling, and impale my coochie smoker on the bedpost. There are these high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my coochie smoker's mouth. I'm taken to the hospital, and they sew it up down there from where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house, and there's a party upstairs. Everyone's drinking. I'm playing alone in the basement, and I'm trying on my new white cotton brown panties that my father's girlfriend gave to me. Suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man Alfred, comes up from behind and pulls down my new white cotton underpants and sticks his big, hard penis into my coochie snorcher. I kick, I scream, I try to fight him off, but he already gets it in. My father's there then, with a gun, and there's this loud, horrible noise, and there's blood all over Alfred and me. Lots of blood. I'm sure my coochie snorcher is finally falling out. Edgar is paralyzed for life, and my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My coochie snorcher is a very bad place. It's a place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion of blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs, and I am traveling, going far away from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman that lives in our neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day, she invites me into her car. She asks me if I like to kiss boys, and I tell her, I do not like that. She tells me she wants to show me something, and she leans over and kisses me so softly on the lips with her lips, then puts her tongue in my mouth, and wow. She asks me if I want to come over. And then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asked my mama if I could spend the night, and my mother's delighted that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm scared, but I can't wait. Her apartment is fantastic. She's got it hooked up. It's the 70s, the beads, the fluffy pillows, the mood lights. I decided right there that I want to be a secretary like her when I grow up. She makes herself a drink, a vodka, and she asks me what I want, and I say, I'll have what you're having. She tells me she doesn't think my mama would like me drinking vodka, and I say, my mama probably wouldn't like me kissing girls either, and the pretty lady makes me a drink. Then she changed into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I'd always thought bull daggers were ugly. I tell her, you look great, and she says, so do you. And I say, I only have this white cotton brown underpants. Then she slowly dresses me in another satin teddy. It's lavender, like the first soft days of spring. The alcohol is gone in my head, and I'm feeling loose and ready. There's this picture over her bed of this naked black woman with a huge afro, and she slowly and gently lays me out on her bed, and just our bodies rubbing makes me come. Then she does everything to me and my coochie snorter that I always thought was nasty before. And wow, I'm so hot, so wild. She tells me, your vagina, untouched by man, smells so nice, so fresh. I wish I could keep it that way forever. Now, I'm crazy wild. And then the phone rings. And of course, it's my mama. I'm sure she knows. She catches me at everything. I'm breathing real heavy, and I try to act normal and get on the phone. My mama says, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? I say, no, mama, exercising. Then she tells the beautiful lady to make sure I'm not around any boys. The secretary tells her, trust me, there's no boys around here. Afterwards, the beautiful lady does everything to my coochie snorter. She makes me play with myself in front of her and teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She tells me to always know how to give myself pleasure, so I never need to rely on a man. In the morning, I'm worried that I'd become a butch because I'm so in love with her. She laughs, but I never see her again. I realized later she was my surprising, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snorter and raised it into a kind of heaven.
We've created a map of vagina-friendly cities. Welcome, Binghamton. They are wild for vaginas in Pittsburgh. In fact, one woman in Pittsburgh became so obsessed with a particular word, a pejorative word used to describe the vagina. Her mission was to reconceive the word.
I call it cunt. I reclaimed it. Cunt. I really like it. Cunt. Just listen to it. First C. First C. Cavern. Cackle. Clit. Cute. Come. Close. Closed inside. Then 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 curvy, inviting, shark skin,
together. Nest. Now. Nexus. Nice. Nice. Always depth, always round and uppercase. Con. A jagged, wicked, electrical pulse. Then soft. Warm. Con. Then sharp, certain, tangy texture. Take, tent, tight, tantalizing, tensing, taste, tendrils, time, tactile. Tell me, cunt, say it. Tell me, cunt.
A 6-year-old girl was asked, if your vagina got dressed, what would it wear? Red high tops and a Mets cap worn backwards? If it could speak, what would it say? It would say words that begin with V or T, turtles and violin are examples. What does your vagina remind you of? A pretty dark peach, or a diamond I found in a treasure and it's all mine. What's special about your vagina? Somewhere deep inside, it has a really, really smart brain. What does it smell like? Snowflake.
Sex workers have rich, compelling, complex relationships with their vaginas. This particular woman blows my mind. She was a sex worker, but she only did sex work with vaginas.
Yeah, girl.
I love vaginas. I love women. I don't see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I didn't start out like this. No. To the contrary, I started out as a lawyer. But in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It started out as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved in it. I got very good at it, sort of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women. Lace and silk and leather. And ace props. There were ropes and handcuffs and whips and dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. There were no props, no excitement, and I hated those blue corporate suits. Although, I wear them now from time to time in my new line of work, and they serve quite nicely. There were no props in corporate law. There was no wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no erect nipples, no delicious mouth, but mainly, there was no moaning. Well, not the type I'm talking about anyway. You see, this was the key. I see now. Moaning was a thing that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy.
When I was a little girl and I would see women in the movies making love, making these strange, orgasmic moaning noises, I used to laugh. I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that these big, outrageous, ungoverned sounds came out of women. I longed to moan. I practiced in front of my mirror on a tape recorder, moaning in various keys, various tones. But always when I played it back, it sounded fake. It was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, only in my desire to be sexual. But then, once when I was 10, I had to pee really, really badly. On a car trip. It went on for almost an hour, and when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, it was so exciting. I moaned. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me moaning in a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. I realized right then that moans are connected, not with getting what you want right away, with putting things off. I realized that moans were best when they caught you by surprise. They came out of this hidden, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans were, in fact, that language. I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud, and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus, and then they'd lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in my building, and people stared at me with contempt in the elevators. Men thought I was too intense. Some called me insane. I began to feel bad about moaning. I got quiet and polite. I made noise into a pillow. I learned to choke my moan, hold it back like a sneeze. Began to get headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming helpless. When I discovered women, I discovered that most women loved my moaning. But more importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moaned. When I was responsible for other women moaning. You see, I made love to quiet women, and I found this place inside them, and they shot themselves in their moaning. I made love to moaners, and they found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was a kind of surgery, kind of exact science, finding the tempo, the exact location or home of the moan. That's what I called it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it. Off the record, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I used force, but not a violent, dominating force. More like a, don't worry, I'm going to take you someplace. You just lay back and enjoy the ride kind of force. Sometimes it was simply mundane. I found the moan before things even got started while we were just eating salad or chicken, just casually, right there with my fingers. Here it is, like that. In the kitchen, all mixed up with the balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I used props. I loved props. Sometimes I made a woman find her moan in front of me. I waited, stuck it out until she opened herself. I wasn't fooled by those minor, more obvious moans. Oh no. I pushed her further all the way into her power moan. There's the clit moan. The vaginal moan. The combo clit vaginal moan. The almost moan.
Almost there! Almost there! Don't give up!
The elegant moan.
Oh, darling.
The right on it moan.
Yes! Yes! Ah!
The gray slit moan.
Ah! I feel good.
The wasp moan. There's the Jewish moan.
Oh, beg.
The African American moan.
Oh, shit!
Irish Catholic moan.
Jesus, Mary, and St. Joseph.
There's the mountaintop moan.
Yodeling.
The baby moan. The teapot moan. There's the doggy moan. There's the uninhibited, militant, bisexual moan. The machine gun moan. There's the tortured Zen moan. The diva moan. The college moan.
Punish me, I'm late for history.
The too drunk to function moan.
What the fuck?
The bored moan.
Oh, Daddy, that's it.
The sorority moan.
Oh, I love my big.
There's the forgetful moan.
Oh, Jason, what, David? Oh, fucking Michelle!
The Beau Bearcats moan.
Oh, you're still a winner in my heart.
And finally, the surprise triple orgasm moan. Where's Brian?
This monologue was performed for some time without any mention of birth. It was a bizarre omission, but then again, a male journalist recently asked, "What's the connection?" Our author, Eve Ensler, was present for the birth of her granddaughter. She was in awe of vaginas before this moment. She's in deep worship now.
I was there when her vagina opened. We were all there, her mother Michelle and her husband Jason and I, the nurse from Ukraine with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning with her rubber glove as she talked casually to us, like she was turning on a loaded faucet. I was there when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak through her pores, and still there after hours when she just screamed suddenly wild, her arms striking at the electric air. I was there when her vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a secret vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny stuck child inside waiting to be rescued. I saw the colors of her vagina. They changed too. Saw the bruised, broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray pink, the dark. Saw the blood like perspiration along the edges. Saw the yellow-white liquid, the shit, the clots, pushing through all the holes, pushing harder and harder. I was there when each of us, her mother and I, held a leg and spread her wide, pushing with all our strength against her pushing, and her husband sternly counting 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus harder. We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of that place. We forget the vagina, all of us. What else would explain our lack of awe, our lack of reverence? I was there when the doctor reached in with Alice in Wonderland spoons, and there as her vagina became a wide operatic mouth singing with all its strength. First the little head, then the great flopping arm, then the fast swimming body swimming quickly into her weeping arms. I was there when her vagina became a wide red pulsing heart. Heart is capable of sacrifice, and so is the vagina. It can forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let us in. It can can expand to let us out. It can bleed for us, ache for us, die for us. Bleed and bleed us into this difficult, wonderful world. I was there in the room. I remember.
One in 3 million women on the planet will be beaten or raped in their lifetime. That's more than 1 billion women living on the planet today. V-Day refuses to stand by as more than 1 million women experience violence. Tonight we are rising with millions of women and men around the world to say enough. The violence ends now. 1 Billion Rising is an appreciation, an amplification, an escalation. 1 Billion Rising is a global call to action. We have gathered throughout the world. 1 Billion Rising is a communal, joining us in solidarity, purpose, and energy, showing the world our collective strength, our numbers, our unity. 1 Billion Rising is shaking the world into a new consciousness. We are dancing across every country on every continent. Dancing insists we take up space. It has no set direction, but we go there together. It's dangerous, joyous, sexual, holy, disruptive. It breaks the rules. It can happen anywhere, at any time, with anyone and everyone. It's free. It requires touching the music, and no corporation can control that. It joins us and pushes us to go further. It's contagious and it spreads quickly. It's of the body. It's transcendent. We are dancing in defiance of the injustices, and we, our mothers, sisters, lovers, and friends are suffering. 1 Billion Rising is a celebration. We're dancing in the streets, in churches, in stadiums, in huts, and in our homes. We are shaking the planet today in a powerful act of refusal to let the violence continue. We are saying no more. We are 1 Billion Rising. I am rising for those who cannot. I'm rising because life is too short not to. I am rising because I am a woman.
We are rising.